affectionately known as the armpit of America. Well, what's worse is I'm from Parma, the armpit of Cleveland. There's two different sides of Cleveland. There's the east side, full of museums and universities and culture and class. And there's the west side, my side, full of bowling alleys. And you can imagine in that kind of place, there wasn't a lot to do when we were growing up. And so by the time we were in junior high, we were all enmeshed in these dramatic, dysfunctional relationships. And tonight I'm going to read from my Paul diary, which is named for a skinny, short kid who had me convinced by 7th grade that he was an undefeated, badass kickboxer who sometimes killed people. This is our love story. December 1st, 1993. Well, hi. Since I'm just starting this diary, let me tell you about myself. I am Dana M. Textoris. I'm 12 years old, and I live in Parma Heights, Ohio. I live in a nice, light gray house in a messy but adequate bedroom. My mother, father, and sister live here with my beautiful cat and adorable dog. My family life isn't very good at all. My parents are extreme opposites and will eventually end up in a long-expected divorce. My sister is a complete bitch and acts like a perfect goody-goody, but is really just a manipulative, tattle-tailing little brat. My social life is completely the opposite of my home life. I'm extremely devoted to my junior high. I'm popular with the whole 7th grade and most of the 8th grade. My crazy, hyper, wild image gains a lot of attention and lots of friends. I'm known for being funny, crazy, nice, friendly, flirty, smart, popular, and weird. Another reason I'm known is for 3 small words. I love Paul. I walk around school openly, proudly, and very frequently declaring my love for my boyfriend, Paul. I'll tell you about him. Paul has brown eyes, black hair, big, full, soft lips, an unbelievably strong, hard, firm stomach, and a great smile. He wears glasses, braces, and black high-top tennis shoes. Shorter than me, which is the only problem. Every day, me and Paul see each other before homeroom. First period, I go to his math. We pack before 2nd and 3rd period. He walks me to my lunch, and we pack. Before 6th period, we pack. Before 9th period, we French. And after school, we pack. So far, we've Frenched 8 times. And we've packed like 100 times. I really love him. Not just puppy love, real love. December 8th, 1993. I am so relieved. Today, Paul told me all about his tournament on Saturday. He's a great fighter and has kickboxed for the last 3 or 4 years. He's undefeated. He fights 25-year-old guys and always wins. Often breaking people's jaws and noses. But still, I was worried about this tournament. It was only for undefeated guys, which meant Paul and this guy Lee. It's against the law to kickbox at Paul's age, but since he's so good, the kickboxers let him do it anyway. It was fought in a 40-foot wide and 40-foot long cage that was locked. There were no rules, they used weapons, and they fight to death. He told me that if he won, he was only doing it for me, and I was all he had to live for. It was all the way in Pennsylvania at 2 in the morning. He had to sneak out of the house at 11:30 at night and got a ride there by his sensei. When they got to Pennsylvania, he and the sensei got out of the car, and the people there just immediately pulled out a gun and shot and killed the sensei. Paul began fighting. I can't really remember how long. I think it was only a minute or so. But in the end, he ends up chopping off Lee's head and killing him. Now, that's not really that hard to believe. What really gets me is that he says with his sensei dead, he had no ride and had to run all the way home from Pennsylvania. And all he's wearing is a pair of shorts. I'm so glad he made it back. He's so good to me. He's completely obsessed with me and has I Heart Dana written all over his hands. He tells me he sells beepers and makes a lot of money. Me and Paul are going to last so long. Maybe all year, longer than that, and all the way through junior high and all the way through high school. We'll definitely get up the shirt and maybe down his pants. Well, I got to go. Love ya and Paul, Dana. December 14th, 1993. Today is one of the very best days of my life. We drove to Brookgate for the 110 movie, Look Who's Talking Now. We sat down in the back row in the corner. In the beginning of the movie, Ryan and Mark said something to Paul, and he turned to me and we started Frenching. I've also semi-Frenched my ex-boyfriend John Mitchell, and before that, Bobby Powell. The guys I've pecked are Billy, Bobby, Dave, Chris, Mike, Jamie, John, Dan, Craig, John Mitchell, Chad, Mike Lako, Christine, Anthony, Matt Walsh, and Chad, and Paul. All in all, I've pecked about 100 or 15 or 20 times, maybe more. Anyway, Paul and me were kissing at the movies for about 20 seconds. Then about 10 minutes later, Ryan's like, let's see you guys kiss again. Paul shrugs like, okay, and then we start kissing. A little later, Paul's like, I'll be right back. Mark and Ryan start whispering to each other and talking. I'm like, tell me, you guys. Then Mark is like, Dana, would you mind if Paul went up your shirt? I'm like, no. He's like, so the next time you guys French, you can go up your shirt? I'm like, I don't care. So Paul comes back and Ryan starts whispering to him. Then Paul starts Frenching me again. He reaches down for my shirt and I wrap my arms around his neck. He pulls my shirt up out of my jeans and slides his hands up under my shirt. He slides his hands up my stomach, up my chest, and then across my back. I think he was feeling around for the snap to the bra on the back, but it was on the front. Then, he moves his hands back to the front and stuff. All of a sudden, though, Ryan pulls him off of me. There was a guy walking by with his kid. So I am so happy. I really am. I love Paul. Well, I gotta go. Love, Dana. January 5th, 1994. Something happened last night. Paul dumped me. Paul thought I was flirting with other guys, and he thought I was weird. He also heard I was going to dump him and wanted to dump me before I could. He also liked Bridget. So he had Mark dump me for him. Literally, probably 60 people either told me they were sorry, gave me a hug, or sent me a sympathy note. I heard that second period he asked Bridget out, and that really hurt. I thought I couldn't live without him, but that's what convinced me if he can move on, why can't I? So the good news is I did move on, and it was somebody even more of a badass than Paul. February 4th, 1994. Oh my God, I love Keanu Reeves so fucking much! I just watched Speed, and now I'm dying. It is my favorite movie of all time. Oh my God, I am dying. I would fuck Keanu Reeves in a minute. He is gorgeous, the best actor, fucking awesome as voice. He is so fucking hot. Shit, I love him. That movie is all I can think about. Shit! It pisses me off so bad that I know him and worship him, but he has no frickin' idea who the hell I am. I love Keanu. Movies like that always depress me, because I feel like I know them, and then the movie's over, and they're gone. I feel like shit now. March 15th, 1994. Things I've learned from my relationship with Paul. 1, don't act differently than you usually would just because of a guy. 2, don't stop acting smart because of a guy. 3, don't let yourself fall too deep when you're 12 years old. Bridget girl who he dumped me for, well, they ended up staying together all through junior high, all through high school. They were together as long as I knew it. Well, I just saw on Facebook they broke up.
Yeah.
He's so tough.
He can do this thing with his hand where he kills a man right in the chest. A few fingers to the chest.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, baby?
It's pretty hot. Peck.
That's all we're allowed to do in public. It's okay. But listen, I got some bad news for you. I was just coming from a place where I was actually in outer space, and these dragons attacked me, and I told the captain, let me fight them off with my kung fu, and so I could come home to you. But I didn't have oxygen, so I was like, wait, let me think again. I'll hold my breath, then I'll fight the dragons and come back. Yes, I came back into the spaceship, but we didn't have enough fuel to get here quick. So I just jumped out of the space contraption with all my velocity. It just happened. I went through the Earth's atmosphere, and I'm back for you, dear.
Oh, thank God. You're amazing. I can't believe it. Peck.
Look, babe, that feels really good, but I got something to tell you, but I need my friend to tell you for me. Hey, Olive, could you tell her I got some bad news?
Yeah, hi, my name is Brittany.
Hi, Brittany.
And I've got some bad news for you.
Yeah,
Paul is with me. Paul is with me. You bitch! I'm sorry that you feel that way, but Paul is with me. Man, see on Facebook, we just broke up. That was 15 years before I told you that. Oh, Paul is with me. Paul is with me.
look, I'm sorry, baby. I don't mean to annoy. It's just the place where you live with your son and your boy and your mom and your dad is kind of bad. It's like you live in the Tenderloin, which is San Francisco's groin. Right? Maybe? I'm not sure. Armpit, maybe. But listen, baby, when I'm a big famous martial artist someday, I'll come back for you, because me and Bridget can make room for 2. And that's what we do.
Oh yeah, that's what we do. Fire